welcome back to Park MGM. So if you saw the last episode, we'll call it, we were in just a standard king room, which we never even ended up staying in. We have been trying back and forth basically for the last few days, trying to get another, a room that we actually liked pretty much. We did get to run around quite a lot, and I'm actually going to air a little bit of a frustration with Nomad. The people here at Park MGM really did try to get us a better room. They did block off a couple suites for us, which ended up being blocked off by somebody else, some other group. One ended up being like thrown up in or something like that, so they couldn't give us that one. And then they called Nomad to see if there's any upgrades available there. Nomad said, send them over. We can't give you any pricing, which was kind of annoying and apparently out of character. Went over to Nomad for them to basically say that there was nothing available. So why we went over there, I have no idea. I did check on my app. I could actually book at Nomad, and I could actually book suites at Park MGM. So I don't really know what was going on there. But anyway, nevertheless, we finally got something. So this is actually called the Peacock Hospitality Suite in Park MGM. This is probably one of the most unique rooms I've ever stayed in, and I'm going to show you why. Follow me. Let's do a tour. So as we first walk in, you do have a bit of a storage area here, which it's not the biggest, but it's enough that you can throw, what your essentials in there. Maybe one suitcase. We have to throw another one on the side over there, so there's not a whole lot of space in there. You do get a robe, 2 robes. You got some slippers, which looks like the type of slippers that you can actually take home, which is nice. There's some extra bedding as well. I didn't actually see a pull-out couch, but there are a couple couches in here, so that's perhaps why they have that available. Ironing board, safe, the usual stuff in there. What I like is this little bar area over here. So this is where you definitely get the hospitality aspect of the hospitality suite. So, you do have the storage up here if you want to throw some bottles up there. You've got your wet bar here, your ice bucket, all the usuals. You do have a mini fridge here, sort of like a bit more of like a wine fridge. We had our leftovers in there yesterday. It's not the coldest, but it's enough that, you can keep your stuff relatively cool. There is the paid mini bar, of course, which we are definitely going to stay away from, as you know what the prices are like. So we'll keep that as it is. And of course, some snacks on the top, which again are on a sensor. Don't touch those because you will get charged immensely. Another thing I liked is this little bar seating area here, which is great. If you just want to have a couple drinks before you're heading out to the strip. They also included a Keurig, which you guys know I love any type of coffee machine that is not, those standard, with the filters and everything. This is just a regular Keurig. They included some coffees. Now I'm going to take away some of the movie magic for you guys. We actually did sleep here last night. This is not a fresh room. We did just get them to make up the room. I also do want to say it is 5:18. We just had the room made up, and that's after we called twice. So I don't know, not really thrilled with that one. But again, I'll save all of my final thoughts at the very end. I'll give you guys just a little bit of recap. But anyway, love the Keurig. They did originally just give us 2 of the coffee pods, but I guess for whatever reason, they did give us 4 today, and some extra water bottles. Again, they did just include the 2 originally, but now we have 6, which is nice because it's August, it's hot, and we need to stay hydrated. Again, another little sitting area here if you just want to entertain. You can really see how this is the hospitality suite. There's one bed in here. There is, I don't know how many chairs and places to sit, so you can really see why this is somewhere that if you're having guests, maybe meetings or whatever the case, this is where they're all going to go bachelor parties. This is where you're going to kind of all congregate maybe before you go out, right? Couch area here, nice couch. There's wear and tear. That couch looks like a little bit of some remnants of maybe a casting couch type vibe, but chair, not casting couch. But you can definitely see that there is some wear and tear on it. TV unit, we haven't actually really been watching too much TV, but decent sized TV, decent sized area here with lots of storage, lots of places to throw your stuff, your drawer, etc. There is some AV equipment in here as well. So if you maybe want to show something on the TV, whatever the case is, you've got that covered here. Another sitting area here. So as you can see, lots and lots of places to sit, which is good. Again, if this is a hospitality suite, that's why I really want to make sure you guys are comprehending here, right? View-wise, we do have a view of the T-Mobile Arena. So obviously, I will give you sort of my, is this spot right for you at the very end? But, spoiler alert, if you're going to a show or a game at the T-Mobile Arena, it is right there, stone's throw away. So, you can see how convenient that is. Now, this is the part that's very unique as well. This is what we were told by the people at the front really does make or break this room for people. And that is, it's a Murphy bed. It's also a queen size bed. A lot of times when you have one bed in a room, you're going to get a king size bed. For some reason, it is just a queen, and for some reason, it is a Murphy. So again, Murphy bed, meaning that this bed will fold up and will go up into the wall here. Now, I guess the main reason for that being that oftentimes this room is probably used not to sleep in, and again, just for entertaining. Like, you know, think of the place you're pre-gaming, or if you have meetings, etc., or you know, there's a bunch of you staying in a hotel. This is where you're going to congregate, maybe have some drinks, and then go out. So that's probably why. But we did sleep here last night. Spoiler alert: it does seem to be broken. It does seem to go on a bit of an angle downward, so it's interesting. Again, more on that later. You have your full size here with some great lighting, which is nice as well. But yeah, it does the job. We'll go with that. There is also the adjoining door there as well. So if you are staying maybe next door, you obviously keep that locked, keep it open. Ours is securely locked. We don't want anybody coming in here. The bathroom, this is a bathroom that's actually not too bad. It's a lot better than the bathroom that we had in the previous room. So their sort of color schemes in Park MGM rooms tend to be very white with one sort of color, basically. So in the standard rooms, you were seeing that sort of dark kind of forest green. In these rooms in the suites, they tend to go with this red. I prefer the red personally, just because I like the color red. But I don't know. I know they did do renovations in this hotel back in 2018, because obviously it was previously Monte Carlo. Considering it's less than 10 years old, I still do kind of feel like they could have gone with something maybe a little bit more modern, a little bit more chic. That's just my personal opinion, but it works for some people. It still looks pretty clean and everything. Again, very clean, modest countertops. They do have this little area over here where they're going to keep your vanity kits, your Q-tips, things like that, which are not in the standard suite. So that's always nice to have. You do have your, of course, magnifying mirror here. It doesn't light up or anything, but it certainly does do the job of magnifying. And then this is something I found kind of funny. So this was also in the other room here. It's sort of like a bit of an area where you're going to store all your towels, your hair dryer, some body lotion. Why they put these towel racks here, I have no idea, because it's not really an ideal place to hang them. Now, whether they should have gone on that wall or even in the toilet area, I don't know. It just boggles my mind. Again, communal stuff here. So we do have these MGM Resort communal stuff. You can see it is tamper-proof, which is not actually. So this one is not tamper-proof. Uh-oh. So I mentioned that, as you can see, this is just, will come off on its own. Whereas these ones here have this like little lock mechanism on there, which will stop it from being tamper-proof. So yeah, that's interesting. That's the first time I've noticed that, because usually they're pretty good about that. So if you do see that in your room, maybe don't use it, because God knows what people have been doing in there. Anyway, let's continue. The shower area is actually pretty spacious. We did shower earlier today. It's a pretty strong shower. I can't argue with that. Can't complain with that. One thing I found kind of unique as well is the fact that the shower door opens inward. Now, it totally doesn't make sense, because how many times have you opened the shower outward and then you get water all over the floor and make a huge mess? It's also a slipping hazard. So I'm guessing that is probably why they did do that. So yeah, not a terrible idea. Again, the communal stuff, which I'm thinking hopefully you can't tamper with. I'm going to be avoiding that body lotion, but this stuff looks like you're probably pretty safe. The toilet area is also separate, which is nice as well. So people are in the bathroom area and they want to shower, want to brush their teeth, do their hair, whatever the case is. You can still have your privacy in here. Do what you got to do. You know, if you're feeling inspired, the room is yours. Okay, so I am using the mic here because Cody's in the shower and it's very loud, so this should hopefully be canceling out that noise. I apologize, but anyway. Yeah, so as mentioned, we have had a couple little hiccups, I guess, at Park MGM. Now, granted, yes, we did book just a standard king room. And, you know, our goal is usually we'll upgrade when we get there. Usually, you know, we both do have status at MGM. So that is usually the plan anyway. Yeah, I get it. They're busy. There's definitely a lot going on this week. I know that there's some football stuff going on. There's some shows, concerts going on. So it's a busy time in this area of the strip. So I do understand that. And I can definitely see that too. Elevator wise, it seems like quite often a lot of the elevators are not working properly. And we did sort of find that you're kind of left waiting for a while. I also find this hotel to be quite hot in certain areas. Yes, we are here in the summertime. If you guys have been to Vegas in the summertime, you know how it is. I don't need to explain that to you. But often when you go into hotels, some people will even bring sweaters or jackets in the summertime, just because usually in the casinos and the hotels it still can be quite chilly. I know where we were staying previously, our room got really cold, which we do personally like when we are sleeping. This hotel, for us though at least, seemed to run on the hotter side. So even this room right now, I have turned the AC off for now just because of the noise, for the sake of recording. But even still, I found this room to run a little bit warm. It is bigger, so that's probably why. But even the elevator areas and the elevators themselves are quite warm. And even certain areas of the casino when we were playing, I was like, am I sick? Like, am I okay? But then, knowing that Cody was also feeling the same way, it was like, okay, well, I guess it's just hot in this area. Anyway, I'm going to give you guys my sort of final thoughts, I guess a little bit later, because we do still have one more night here at Park MGM. We stayed here for 2 nights. As mentioned, we did book for multiple nights just because our plans did change. But unfortunately, had we canceled our reservation and rebooked it would have ended up costing us quite a bit more, which was kind of crazy. So the room did sit vacant for quite a number of nights, which I felt a little bit bad about, but it is what it is. So we never did sleep in that other room. If you did watch the other video first, if you haven't, I will link it below. That's just a standard king room. This room is it's unique for sure. This is not a room I've ever seen before, so it's very interesting. Like I said, the bed is not the greatest. It's being a Murphy bed and being able to sort of put it up in the wall up there like that. It's a smaller bed. It's definitely broken because, like I said, the fact that my body's on like a weird incline, so it definitely is not working properly. But all in all, I don't know. I can't say that I would be in a rush to book back at Park MGM. It's a big resort too, so it's also really busy. Where we were staying previously was a much smaller resort. So, waiting for the elevators, getting in and around places was just so much more smooth. I just find that, I guess, because it is busier, it's a weekend, maybe that's why. So I'm not saying I would never give Park MGM another chance. I would just say that it hasn't really wowed me yet. But that said, we are here for one more night. I will see, maybe if things, I don't want to say if things improve, but if maybe there's any notable things that maybe are worth mentioning. So I will say that there are some great things going on at Park MGM. So this hotel is smoke-free. So if you are like me and do not smoke cigarettes, it is nice to not have to smell that when you're, in and around places, because sometimes you don't even realize, and then you walk out of a place and you smell your shirt and you're like, oh damn, like I stink. So that is nice. It's very fresh in there, which is great. Tons of restaurant options. You got Italy in there, which is great. I've gone there a couple times. They have them, all over North America. I've got one in Toronto. Actually, we got 2 in Toronto now. There's one in, I think Chicago. There's quite a few of them anyway. It's a really great place. It's almost like a little market where you can grab like pizza, pasta, seafood, etc., which is kind of cool. You have the tram as well, which can take you to Aria and Vidara. Can take you all the way to Bellagio as well. So it does save you a bit of time if you don't want to do too much walking. So that's great. As mentioned, you are right by T-Mobile Arena, which is cool. There's also a tram right, sort of not next door, but you're right next to New York as well, which, if you want to get down to the south end of the strip, there's the tram as well over at Excalibur, which will take you all the way to, Luxor Mandalay Bay. So you are in a fairly good location. Me personally, I like to stay more central and north of the strip. But again, it's still not a bad spot. You also do have, a lot of places across the street like Target and places like there's a CVS right next door as well if you want to grab some cheap drinks or snacks or whatever for the room. They are going to be opening up that new shopping area soon. Maybe by the time you're watching this, they've already opened it. But where the Hawaiian marketplace used to be, there's going to be a nice little shopping area there with like Adidas, H&M, some other places like that. All in all, though, not a bad location. But like I said, this stay has been a little bit funny, so we'll just leave it at that. I will give you guys a bit more of a rundown a little bit later of just our final thoughts after we've spent our second night here. We are going to be moving somewhere tomorrow one of my favorite places in Las Vegas Strip that I've never featured before, so I'm really excited to show you guys that one, but you're gonna have to subscribe to make sure that you do not miss that one. But as I say, we'll give you some more, I guess, anything we may have missed, anything that comes up new, anything different that we did. Like we did eat at Best Friend, so there will be a separate video on Best Friend. We ate there yesterday, kind of a cool place, and we had drinks over at Juniper, which I heard it used to be a lot better. We weren't really blown away, but anyway, I digress. So anyway, stay tuned. Give you my final thoughts a little bit later, and we'll talk then. See you then. All right, guys, we are just getting ready to check out of Park MGM. We did get late checkout, which is nice because I think both of us are feeling a little worse for wear today. So they did extend it to 1, which is awesome because we have another hotel to move to. So we're kind of just moving at a bit of a snail's pace. But anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a quick little update. I said pretty much everything I need to say, I think, in the, just before I got into this section now. But I guess just a couple extra things. Lying in this room last night and this morning, I sort of felt like I was in like my friend's basement. You know what I mean? Like I stayed over at my friend's house and, I felt like it's a very wide open room. And, you're kind of just, I felt like I was sleeping on a pull-out couch in their living room sort of thing. I don't know. I can't say I loved the room. I do prefer a suite. I do prefer a bigger space, obviously. But I guess just this being just one big room as opposed to like having a separate bedroom or whatever the case is, that's just a personal preference. I don't think there's many rooms like this, but yeah, just for me, it wasn't maybe my favorite. That said, I didn't really want to stay in that other just basic king room either, just because it just seemed a little too small, So, yeah, I mean, there wasn't really a whole lot of place to leave, your stuff, put your luggage, this and that. So for me, that was definitely not the ticket. And even this one, I can't say that I absolutely love, but again, it just comes down to personal preference. I do think as well, where you first, and those who've been to Vegas multiple times can maybe attest to this as well, that where you maybe had your first or second or third kind of trip really does sort of set the tone for what you like and what you don't like. So for me, my first stay was at Palazzo, and the first few stays were at Palazzo, and then I kind of ended up going more central here and there. So I definitely have more of a preference for the north end, but not too far north. Like the Palazzo sort of as far north as I really want to be. Because after that, you kind of get sort of the standalone hotels like Resorts World and Fontainebleau and everything. And I also obviously love Center Strip. This area is still relatively considered Center Strip, I would say, but I think it does go a little bit more maybe south from my preference. You are probably a little bit more south. You are sort of a bit far from the strip too. The hotel does kind of come back from the strip, so you do have to walk through a fairly large casino, then through Italy, then you're on the strip. Where this I definitely think would be good for though is those of you who are going to places like T-Mobile Arena. Like I can literally see it right from my window. So if you are staying at T-Mobile Arena, or sorry, if you're going to a concert or a game or whatever, it's right there, super convenient. The tram definitely does help as well. I found that we were using that quite a bit to get over to Central Strip area, like over to Bellagio and everything. So there is a free tram that you can take, which yeah, definitely came in handy. There's definitely things that Park MGM does really well, which they seem to have definitely made themselves a little bit more young and hip, I guess, in a way. I think the smoke-free, I mean, obviously, for my smokers out there, they're not going to love it, but it being smoke-free, I think, is good for a lot of people. It feels a lot more fresh in here. The fact that you got Dolby Theater here as well, you got like some acts that people, I think, in their 20s and 30s and maybe 40s and 50s will also enjoy. You got, Bruno Mars, Lady Gaga. We saw Mariah Carey here for her opening of her residency a few months back, and it's a great theater with great views and everything. So yeah, no complaints there. I do think that they definitely have tried to step up their game and make it a little bit more trendy though, especially with places like Best Friend, which we did eat at. I will have a separate video for that one as well. Definitely felt like more of like a young kind of hip atmosphere. And don't get me wrong, this is not a bad location. There's stuff around here. I mean, you're right next door to New York. You're across the street from some shopping, some cheap eats type places, some places like, Walgreens are close by, CVS close by, if you want to just grab, some drinks for the room, snacks for the room, etc. So it's not all bad. It's just, again, I think it just does sometimes go down to personal preference. And I didn't dislike my stay here. I just wouldn't say it was one of my favorites. That's probably what I'm getting at now. It was very middle of the road for me. Sort of nothing special, but it wasn't bad either, I guess. It just didn't really super hit the mark for me, but I would still definitely stay here again. I would give it another chance. I would maybe want to check out one of their suites. Like I think they have a Nighthawk suite, and they have another style suite that sounds kind of interesting as well. So maybe I'd have to look into booking one of those. And yeah, we'll see what happens in the future. But I don't know. I mean, let me know what you guys think. If you ever stayed at Park MGM, what did you guys think of this room? It's a little bit different. I will say that Murphy bed was not very comfortable. I didn't sleep the best in it. I also found it to be somewhat noisy in here. It sounded like someone above was like moving furniture. We were also right by the elevator, which was convenient because we could just literally walk right to the elevator. But then on the downside of that was, you could hear people sort of talking on their way to the elevator sometimes. But yeah, I did find the room to be a little noisy. But otherwise, anyway, let me know what you guys thought of the room. Let me know if you ever stayed at Park MGM, what your thoughts were. if you would stay at Park MGM after seeing this video and my previous video, make sure you do check out my best friend video as well, which will be coming out soon. Sort of check out some of the different restaurants that are going on. If you guys have any other questions or if I've missed anything, please don't hesitate to leave any questions, comments below. It's obviously helpful for other travelers because they probably have the same questions that you guys have. It's also really helpful for me because any interaction you guys have with my videos, whether you're liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, it all helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you're not subscribed, I would ask that you please consider subscribing to the channel. There's a button down the bottom there, totally free for you. Really helps me keep delivering this free content to you. Anyway, this has been Daniel Spotlight. Viva Las Vegas, and we'll see you in the next one.